It gets tiring being a failure at everything, living with no goals, no progress, and feeling like everything you touch is a failure.
So I'm gonna show you how to stop being a failure
By taking you through 3 major steps.
fixing your mind, fixing your goals, and fixing yourself. Let's start with fixing your mind.
1. Complaining rewires your brain to make you a failure. Through your brain, there's a collection of synapses that are separated by empty space. When you have a thought, one synapse will shoot a chemical across the empty space to another synapse, building a bridge to allow the electrical signal to go through, sending the information you're thinking of. Here's where your brain starts to turn on you. Every time this electrical charge or thought is triggered, those synapses grow closer together to increase efficiency. Let me simplify this further. Having a thought makes it easier to have that thought again in the future. So whenever there comes a time that you have to come up with a new thought in the future, the thought that will win will be the thought that has the least amount of time to travel, which is usually your negative thought. The problem is that your thoughts control 95% of who you are. They build your personality. Your goal is to flood your mind with more positive attributes so that becomes your default state. We're only getting started, but you're already seeing how your brain has you wired to be an F-up. Tips 2 to 5 are gonna rewire your brain to be a winner. 2, you're gonna put more load on your back. Stress is an enhancer, but society has put a bias on it, making it seem as if it's a bad thing. I'm gonna show you how you can use stress to get to mental toughness, getting smarter, getting better at problem solving, and becoming fearless. And no, this is not some motivational jargon. This is scientific fact. In a study with rats, they induced them with brief amounts of stress and monitored their brain activity. They noticed that after 2 weeks, the rats had decreased their fear of the stress, and they had an increase in newly formed neurons and areas of the brain that are responsible for memory and learning. So, you're going to develop stressful goals for yourselves to develop your brain. I'm gonna give you 3 simple ones that I went through I think you should follow. The first one, you should take care of yourself. Only 24% of young men under 22 are financially independent from their parents. That's a big goal to meet that you can set. Another one could be, you're gonna take care of your parents. Only 25% of Gen X, which is ages 40 to 65, the older guys, take care of their parents. That's a big goal for you to do, especially at your age. Take it a step further, add more stress. Start thinking about how you're gonna make your future children proud. Something that almost no one thinks of because everyone's thinking about their immediate future. The only that do are the top 1%. You see how each goal will magnify stress and put load on your back. 3, losers are filled with jealousy and lust. There are 2 things that screw-ups do in their day. They'll hate on everyone and they'll go on Pornhub to lust over imaginary girls. So my goal here is to show you how to eliminate the thing that causes you to do both of those. See, lust on social media is so bad because it doesn't allow you to be faithful because you see so many attractive alternatives. On the flip side, when you see a successful guy on social media, you're filled with envy because you don't have the same. And there's a scientific reason to this. See, social media users compare themselves to others in appearance, ability, popularity, and social skills. So you pursue both hating and lusting on Pornhub because it is easier to tear down the guy that has what you want or to go on Pornhub to look for girls rather than becoming the desirable man that women want. You have to cut back on social media usage. That's the culprit. To do this, you need to become a creator, not a consumer. Remember, it is your inaction or the fact that you're not doing anything that makes you a screw up. As soon as you start taking action and become a creator of a content, you won't have time to be hating on others. You have now turned your passion into a tool for your benefit and not for your destruction. Let's move on to fixing your goals. Number 4, you need to get out of your financial hell. You're depressed because you cannot enjoy life. Your bank account is at 0. Almost 60% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. 24% are either not working or seeking a job or can't find a job. So unless you are at the top of 16% of earners, you're basically broke. This is why you should use a banking app like Dave that is leveling out the financial playing field. They can give you an advance of up to $500 in extra cash with no credit check or late fee. And they can do it in less than 5 minutes. But I'm gonna be frank with you. You are broke because of your leisure time. This is called the negative consequences of monetizing leisure. I want you to do a mental exercise with me. The average amount of social media consumed in America per day is 181 minutes. The average hourly earnings, according to the US Bureau of Labor and Statistics, is $33.58 an hour. That means that the cost of you wasting time every day is $101.29. This study found that when you are reminded of how much money you're wasting by not doing anything, you are less likely to procrastinate. So I want you to start by writing that figure we just talked about and put it in a post-it note and anywhere where you spend most of your time during the day. Every time you see it, you're gonna be less motivated to waste time. Then, instead of wasting time, I want you to start looking for a second remote job or start some sort of side hustle and business that you could do after work or school. And when you download the banking app Dave and open an extra cash account, you can get an advance in the money that you need, and that's with no interest, and you can settle up later. And this is key because most of you do not start a side business because of lack of money or not being able to pay your bills. Getting that initial kickstart investment can be that push that you're looking for. So to download, go to dave.com/TMF. That's dave.com/TMF. You can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less, no credit check, and no late fees. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Eligibility criteria and instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve, which is a member of the FDIC. 5, you're gonna use plasticity to change your loser brain into a winner brain. You're gonna trigger plasticity through the uncertainty that these new goals that you set will create in your life. Let's be real. Most men do not set big goals because they are either scared or don't know where to start. But you cannot stay in the same comfortable environment, or else your brain will never evolve out of that effed up situation you're in. This is called plasticity, the brain's ability to change its behavior in the face of new demands. So your following question should be, how do you trigger plasticity? You're gonna chase the impossible and get outside your comfort zone. This sounds vague, but it's not. I want you to sit down and write the top 3 things you want to accomplish in your life. I don't care how crazy they are. Then you're going to verbalize it and write it down. Then you're going to use the law of first principles to execute on any of those big ideas and allow plasticity to forge your mind into becoming a winner. The law of first principles is simple. It's when you take a hard problem down to its basic principles and then you work from the bottom up. Let's say you want to start $1 million business. That's a big, hard problem. So you're gonna break it down to smaller core problems. What are you selling? How much will it cost? And how many of them do you need to sell? Why would they buy your stuff over a competitor's? You need X number of customers. How are you gonna get them? What are your acquisition channels? You're gonna answer each small core problem and work on those. Cool, we made it this far. I've showed you how to rewire your brain so you don't think like a failure by putting more load on your back, getting rid of lust and jealousy, getting out of your financial situation, and using plasticity to form your mind. But that is not the end goal. The end goal is to be an actual winner. And these next 2 tips will show you how to take action. Number 6, you have to be a loser to become a winner. I actually want you to screw up a lot. But when you fail, I want you to fail correctly. Because according to research and my own experience, it is an essential prerequisite for success. In a study called Every Winner Begins as a Loser, scientists studied 776,000 grant applicants, 46 years of business investments, and 170,000 terrorist attacks. Every single successful person started out by being a loser and failing first. But here's the key takeaway to apply to your life. Not every failure turned into success. Some failures stayed a failure their entire life. And it wasn't persistence that was the key difference. One key indicator, if you want to be successful, is the time between each of your failure. The goal is to get them to decrease over time. In other words, the faster you fail and the less time in between each of your failures, the higher chances of success. So I want you to change your mindset and make it a goal. Fail a lot and fail fast. Moving on to the 3rd category, which is fixing yourself. 7, get rid of anxiety forever with this decision-making tree. You are never going to unscrew your life if you're always anxious. The great part is that the anxiety is fixable with this decision-making tree any of you can apply. The reason why you need to control this anxiety and stress is that when you're in high anxiety, you release a stress hormone called cortisol. This lowers your mental capacity, increases your fat storage, and even destroys your immunity. So, anytime you're anxious about something, some sort of decision, run through this tree. Whatever the problem or question is, can you fix it? If the answer is no, then why stress? Your second question is it in your control to fix it? If the answer is yes, then do it. Why stress? If the answer is no, then why stress? So now you're a winner, but we're not done because you have to look like a winner now. Takes me to tip number 8. You're going to use priming to see yourself as more than. You do not see yourself in a high self-perception, and how you dress and how you look is a direct reflection of that. You want to make positive thoughts about yourself common in your brain using priming. And this is important because if you believe you're attractive, for example, you'll believe that you're part of a higher social status. So here's 3 ways to prime your brain into higher self-esteem. First one, start with a haircut. According to a YouGov survey, 81% of men state that they feel negative when they go too long without a haircut. You know this, you're in a rut, so forget your therapist, go to the barbershop. Your second step is to put on a fragrance. When male participants in this study were sprayed with the body fragrance, they were rated by women as being more attractive and having higher self-esteem. The premise of the study was to see if women could pick out high self-esteem males. They found that the strongest moving determinator to be perceived as high self-esteem was to spray a fragrance. And the next one, wear a suit. You will see yourself and describe yourself based on the clothing that you wear. This is called enclothed cognition. I want you to wear more formal attire as this is gonna make you perceive yourself as being more cultivated, more accurate, and smart. In this study, they allowed casual dress men and formal dress men to come in and self-rate themselves. Those that had formal attire had higher self-esteem and perceived themselves with positive adjectives. Number 9, position the right people around in your life. You need to come into your life and move certain people out and plug some people in. When you hang out with certain people, it rewires your brain to think like they do. When you observe someone experience an emotion, your brain then stimulates that emotion. If you surround yourselves with negative people, your brain is gonna adapt that negativity. While on the flip side, being around positive people will strengthen and increase your capacity. The point is, you can your life by taking full responsibility of everything that happens to you and taking action. I'm gonna leave 2 more videos here where you can take action and continue to level up.